So hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to Unacademy. Welcome to Creatrix. In these sessions, we are studying the communication systems. So before actually going into the lecture, let me introduce myself. My name is Vishal Soni and I have cleared ESC examination 2 times, both times in double-digit rank from Electronics and Telecommunication branch. Apart from that, I have also served as Group A Gastro Officer for Indian Railways and for Indian Telecommunication Services. From the past 6 years, I have been teaching to the GATE and ESC aspirants and specifically for EE and EC students. So right now I am teaching on Unacademy and I really feel proud to teach on Unacademy because it is a revolution which has been created in the domain of free education and in the affordable education. Education has never been so much of accessible for the students who are at the remote places, who are present at some their village. So Unacademy has made this reach to everyone so that everyone can access the quality education and they can pursue their dreams. So I really feel proud to be the part of this team and I really look forward for every student to be the part of the Unacademy in some way or the other. So right now as you can see that I am the top educator of Unacademy and more than 2 million people, more than 2 million watch minutes has been there from the past 30 days if you watch here. And right now my suggestion for every student will be that there are 2 modes in which you can prepare for a GATE examination or for ESC examination. One mode is that if you cannot afford the education, if you want to prepare it through the YouTube, then you should be very systematic in that and you should follow this channel immediately, because on this channel we are teaching from morning to evening. Every day live classes are going there and PDFs are also being shared. So you can just come on to these YouTube channels and you can start studying your preparation. So once you do the preparation from the YouTube, remember a lot of things that you have to do on yourself. For example, the doubt solvings you have to take care of yourself. For example, the question practice you have to take care of yourself, the test series you have to take care of yourself, and the discipline. The most important part is the discipline which you have to make, and you should make a habit of attending the classes live no matter what goes on. As you attend the offline class, in the same manner you should attend these YouTube classes so that you can get the best possible output from these classes. Apart from that, the complete lecture, the complete playlist of every subject is present on the same channel. You just have to go to the playlist and you will be getting all the lectures very systematically arranged, and that will be more than sufficient for you to crack the examination. But remember this thing, that on this you have to arrange the extra possible things that I have explained earlier. Apart from that, if you want the topic wise analysis of a subject, if you want any particular topic to study, not the complete subject, then you can go on to the Unacademy special classes. Lot of educators are there and they are actually providing a lot of free content there, so you can go and access all the content which is available here. Now if you want all these things in a very organized manner, if you want all these things in the guidance of the educator who is present there, if you want the doubt solving to be very smooth, if you do not want to take the extra headache apart from the studies, you just want to focus on the studies and rest of the things should be taken care by this Unacademy, then you should come on to this one of the most affordable subscriptions, which is known as Unacademy Plus subscription. What does it offer? The Unacademy Plus subscription offers you the daily live classes on the fixed timing, which means you just have to make a habit, you just have to be very disciplined to attend the classes, and once it is live, it is very easier to be in that habit, because you will be automatically reminded every time that you will be having the live class at a particular time. So very soon you will be making a habit of attending it in and out, which is most of the times not possible in YouTube, because we take it for granted, or we think that okay, we'll do it later on. Fine. Apart from that, apart from these live classes, you will be having the weekly test, which means whatever you have studied in a week, the test will be going on that particular topic. So you do not have to worry about your cross checking, or you do not have to worry about the retention of the subject, because every week there is a test, so you are bound to study for that. Apart from that, every fourth class is a doubt solving session. So every fourth class is the doubt solving session, which means that your doubt is going to be resolved in every possible time, every time. So you just have to come on to these doubt solving sessions, post your doubt, the teacher will be telling you how to crack that particular doubt. So very important, these doubt solving sessions. Remember, if you are comfortable in English language, there are English language courses. If you are comfortable in Hindi language, there are Hindi language courses. So both batches are already present there. Apart from that, if the subject or the course is completed, you are going to get a crash course. What does crash course means? Crash course means you will be given a very quick recap of all the concepts, all the formulas in the best possible manner. Fine. Apart from that, if you are already got the good rank, then there are some rank improvement batches. So all these things are included in the single subscription, in this revolutionary subscription. All these things are included. You do not have to pay any extra penny apart from this. In this subscription, the GATE, all the subjects of the GATE will be included, the ESC subjects will be included, technical, non-technical will be included, aptitudes will be included, whatnot. Everything is included in that. if you take this plus subscription. So you do not have to take headache about anything. You just have to come onto the Unacademy platform. Rest of the things will be taken care by us. Okay, fine. Apart from that, there is also another subscription which is known as Iconic. What does Iconic means? Iconic is the superset, or you can say the better version of this plus subscription, because Iconic offers you the personal coach or the mentor who will be along with you totally with the duration of your preparation. So this personal coach will be giving you the study plans, that how to study, how to actually be comfortable in the topics in which you are not comfortable in. Apart from that, he will be also giving you the personalized test analysis, which means once you attend the test, obviously you make a lot of mistakes in a test, and every time you cannot judge or you cannot review your test. So this personal coach will be reviewing your test completely. He will be giving you every input, that in which question did you do the silly mistake, in which question are you not comfortable with the concepts. So that analytics helps you to grow in a least possible time. So what may happen once you take this Iconic subscription? If you take this Iconic subscription immediately, what happens, that your growth becomes very fast, because these analytics, study booster sessions, these preparatory study materials, these will enhance you to grab the concept in the least possible time. So as we are teachers are present on the Unacademy, so we also get the analytics every time, so that we can improve our teaching. We also get the feedback that this has to be improved, this has to be improved. In the same manner, if anyone is getting regular analytics of their job or their preparation, so obviously they will be having a boost up, and they will also grow exponentially in order to get their dreams. So this Iconic subscription is made especially for them who thinks that their background is not very good in terms of education, or their basics are not clear, or maybe you think that you are talented enough, but you need constant push, you need constant analytics, and you do not have that kind of motivation. So you can come and take this Iconic subscription. So either you come on to the plus or you come on to the Iconic. If you take Iconic, all these subscriptions, all these advantages of plus are included in that. So remember this very important point. Fine. Now, so let us start the session.
Hello friends, welcome to the lecture of the communication system. So in this class, we will start the new chapter, which is random variable and random process. So this chapter is very important, but before understanding this chapter, we will try to understand few basic terms related with probability. After that, we will learn this random variable and this random process. So first of all, let us see what we have to study in probability theory. In probability theory, first of all, we will see some basic definitions related with probability. After that, we will see what is joint probability and what is conditional probability. Once we are thorough with this joint and conditional probability, we will see what are mutually exclusive events and what are statistically independent events. After that, we will see few basics of total probability and Bayes theorem, and later on we will use this Bayes theorem to solve some questions of random variable. Now let us start with some basic definition. First of all, what is an experiment? We know that any process of observation is called as an experiment. So there can be thousands and thousands of the experiment, but we will stick to few basic experiments that we will need later on this subject. So first of those experiments are tossing of coin. Now I will divide this tossing of coin experiment into two parts. First one is tossing of fair coin. Sometimes a fair coin is also known as unbiased coin. Second one is tossing of unfair coin. Sometimes an unfair coin is also known as biased coin. So here we can see two new terms. One is fair coin and another one is unfair coin. So first of all, let us understand what is a fair coin. A fair coin is nothing but the coin which we use in our daily life, or the fair coin is the practical coin. So obviously the fair coin will have one side as head and another side as tail. So this is your practical coin, or the coin which is used in daily life. Now what is this unfair coin? The unfair coin is a hypothetical coin in which the coin has both the sides either as head or both the sides as tail. So this is your hypothetical coin, and it is known as unfair coin or a biased coin. The second experiment is also very popular experiment, which is rolling off a dice. So these are the few basic experiments that we need to understand. Second one term related with the probability is outcome. So what is an outcome? We know that the results of the experiment, the result of an experiment is called as outcome. So I'll make a table here so that we can understand how the outcomes can be written with respect to experiment. So here I'll be performing an experiment, and on this side I will try to write the outcomes. So first experiment is tossing off fair coin. We know that whenever a fair coin is tossed, the outcomes will be either head or tail. Second experiment is tossing off unfair coin. Now we are tossing the unfair coin which has both the sides as head. So obviously the outcome will always be head only. And if I am tossing a coin which has both the sides as tail, then the outcome will be tail only. Third experiment is rolling off dice. So once the dice is rolled, we know that the outcome can be any face of the dice, and each face of the dice has numbers from 1 to 6. So the outcome can be either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. So this is the basic definition of outcomes. The results of an experiment are called as outcomes. Next important point is a random experiment. So what is a random experiment? We know that an experiment is called random experiment if the outcome of the experiment cannot be predicted with certainty. So an experiment is called random experiment if the outcomes of the experiment cannot be predicted with certainty. So let me again make the table, and we will try to judge whether the experiment is a random experiment or a non-random experiment. So in this table we will write our experiment here, outcome, and here we will give comment whether it is a random experiment or not. And remember, to qualify as a random experiment, we should not be able to predict the outcome with utmost certainty. So first of all, let me make the experiment of tossing off fair coin. So whenever the fair coin is tossed, we know that the outcome will be head and tail. So can you predict this outcome head and tail with certainty? Or you can say that head will come every time or tail will come every time? We cannot tell. Rather, we know that both the outcomes will have associated probability, and this probability is lying between 0 to 1. So we can say that the outcome of this experiment tossing of a fair coin cannot be predicted with certainty. Rather, the outcomes have associated probability between 0 to 1. So such types of experiments are called as random experiment. Now the second experiment, which is rolling of dice. We know that whenever the dice is rolled, the outcome will be numbers from 1 to 6. So, can you predict the outcome with certainty? Can you tell that 1 will come every time, or 2 will come, or 6 will come every time? We cannot. We cannot predict the output with certainty, or we can say that all the outcomes are having associated probability, which is nothing but 1 by 6. It is also between 0 to 1. Since this experiment rolling of a dice has outcomes which cannot be predicted with certainty, or each outcome is having associated probability between 0 to 1, hence this can also be called as a random experiment. Now, the third experiment, which is tossing of unfair coin. So whenever the unfair coin will be tossed, the outcome will be either head or head, and if the coin is having tail on both the sides, then the experiment will have outcome as tail only. Now, whenever we are tossing an unfair coin which has both the sides as head, can you predict the outcome? Certainly we can predict the outcome. The outcome is going to be head always, or the probability of head will always be 1, and the probability of tail will always be 0. So in all those experiments in which the events has probability of taking itself as 1 or 0, all those experiments come under the category of non-random experiment, or we can see that this experiment tossing of an unfair coin has outcomes as head only. So we can always predict the outcome of this experiment, hence it comes under the category of non-random experiment. So till now we have understood how to understand whether an experiment is random or non-random. So the definition is clear that an experiment is called random experiment if the outcome of the experiment cannot be predicted with certainty, or we can say that when the outcomes are having associated probability between 0 to 1, all those experiments will come under the category of random experiment. Let us understand the new term, which is sample space. So what is a sample space? The sample space is nothing but it is the set of all the possible outcomes of a random experiment. So sample space is basically the set form of all the possible outcomes. Here the set word which is being used is related to the set theory. So suppose we are performing a random experiment tossing of fair coin. So we know that this is a random experiment. What will be the outcomes? The outcomes will be head and tail. Now, if I want to write this outcome in set form, then the collection of these outcomes is known as sample space, or the set of all these possible outcomes is known as sample space. Similarly, if I am performing a random experiment rolling of dice, what will be the outcome? The outcome can be any number between 1 to 6. So now I just need to write this 1 to 6 numbers in a set form. Then it will be technically known as sample space. To write the sample space, we always use this curly bracket. So you need to remember that whenever you need to write a sample space, find out all the possible outcomes and then form the sample space. For forming the sample space, you just need to put the curly bracket and it will represent a set form of the outcomes. Now let us try to solve a question. In this question it is saying that 3 coins are being tossed simultaneously. Form the sample space. Okay, so this is the requirement. So first of all, we will identify what is the random experiment. The random experiment is that 3 coins are being tossed simultaneously. So first of all, we will try to find out the outcomes. The outcomes can be either all the tails will come, or the combination of 2 tails, tail, tail, head, head, tail, 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 head, tail, or the combination of 2 heads, that is head, head, tail, head, tail, head, tail, head, head, or all the 3 heads. So these are the possible outcomes. Now if I have to write the sample space, what I will do, I will write all these outcomes in set form. So it will become triple T, tail, tail, head, head, tail, 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 head, tail, or head, head, tail, head, tail, head, tail, head, head, or triple head. So whenever I have to write a sample space, I will write the outcomes in set form. Now next important term is sample point. So what is the sample point? We have already understood the sample space. So each element of sample space is known as sample point. So the definition is very simple. If you know how to make the sample space, then each element within the sample space will represent a sample point. Now let us understand with an example. Suppose 2 coins are being tossed simultaneously. So we know that this is the random experiment. What will be the outcomes? So the outcomes will be head, head, comma, head, tail, comma, tail, head, comma, tail, tail. And how to write the sample space? We know that to write the sample space, what we will do, we will just write it in set form. So this is the sample space. So we know that each element in the sample space will represent a sample point. Sometimes symbolically it is written as lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, lambda 4, where lambda represents your sample point. Here the lambda 1 can be called as tail, tail, lambda 2 can be tail, head, lambda 3 can be head, tail, and lambda 4 can be head, head. Sometimes it is also represented as a Venn diagram, which is S is representing the complete set, while these lambdas are representing the sample points. So these are the few basic different representation of a sample space and sample points. So in this particular case, it has 8 sample points. Now next very important term is an event. What is an event? If you have understood the sample space, then event can be easily understood. Any subset of sample space is called as an event. Now, again I'm taking the random experiment as tossing of two coins simultaneously. So now I can directly write the sample space. So the sample space will be either both head or combination of head tail or both the tails. So this is your sample space of this particular random experiment. Now, if I am forming a subset like this or a subset like this, or I can form the combination of two elements or maybe a single elements. So is this the subset of the given set? This S1 is having none of the elements of the given particular experiment. So these types of events are called as impossible events. In set theory, it is called as null set, and sometimes it is also called as impossible events because such an event cannot occur when two coins are tossed simultaneously. Next, the set which is having all the possible elements of the given experiment or the given sample space are called as certain event. Because this type of event will always going to happen whenever you are tossing two coins simultaneously. Somewhere or the other, all these four possibilities will occur. Now, what about this? Is S3 a subset of S? We can clearly see that S has four elements and S3 has two elements, which is both head and tail. Then obviously this will form an event. And we can recall the definition of event is any subset of sample space is called as an event. So the sample space is given to you. You can form any subset of your choice and you can name it as an event. What about this? Is it the subset of the S? Obviously, it is also the subset of S. So you can call it as an event. Now, can I call this double H as element or sample point? Obviously I can call it. So now let me make a statement. What I can say that every sample point will represent an event. So this statement must be very clear because the sample point is always going to be the subset of the sample space. So any sample point will always represent the subset of the sample space. So every sample point will represent an event. But can I state it conversely or the converse statement will be true or not? So you can understand from here. It is an event. Event means the subset of the sample space. So it is the subset of the sample space. Can you call it as an element? We cannot call it as element or sample point because to qualify as a sample point, it should have only one element in it. So we can say that every sample point represents an event, but converse is not true, which means we cannot say that every event will represent a sample point, which is quite obvious that it is an event, but it will never represent a sample point. Rather, it will be the combination of more than one sample points. So this is some basic informations related with sample points and events. Now, if a sample space has n sample points, then total 2 power n different events can take place. So you must remember it. If a sample space has n sample points, then total 2 power n different events or 2 power n different subsets you can form. And this 2 power n different subset includes this null set and this certain event. So it also includes this impossible event and this certain event. Now, let us understand what is the probability. The probability is nothing but the study of random experiments. It is the study of random experiments. Because in random experiments, there is always an uncertainty as to whether a particular event will occur or not. Now we know that if we are sure that event will occur, then probability is 100% or 1. Now, if we are sure that event will not occur, then probability is 0% or 0. Now, if we are not sure whether the event will occur or not, then probability is between 0 to 1. So this is the basic statements related with the probability, and these statements are self-explanatory that if any event has probability of 100%, then it will surely to be happen, and if an event has probability of 0, then it is never going to be happen, and if an event has probability between 0 to 1, then we are not sure that which event will take place at what time. Now, next term is joint probability. Suppose we have two events A and B of an experiment. So we know that how to make the events from an experiment. So I'm taking two events as A and B. Then the joint probability is defined as probability of A intersection B. It is known as joint probability of events A and B. Similarly, if we have n number of events A1, A2, An, then the joint probability of all these events are defined as A1 intersection A2 intersection up to intersection with AN. This is known as joint probability of A1, A2 up to AN. Next term is conditional probability. So the conditional probability is defined as, suppose an experiment has two events A and B. Now this expression is known as conditional probability of A when B has already been happened. So this represents the conditional probability of event A when event B has already been happened. Sometimes you can also write it like this. This represents conditional probability of B when event A has already been happened. So these are two conditional probabilities. Now let us come to this multiplication theorem and let us try to understand what this multiplication theorem actually means. So before actually understanding this multiplication theorem, let us try to relate the joint and conditional probability. The joint and conditional probabilities are related something like this. We know that probability of A intersection B can be written as probability of A into B by A, and this will always be equal to probability of B into A by B. So this is the relation between joint probabilities and conditional probabilities. Here, probability of A represents probability of event A and probability of B represents probability of event B. And these two are absolute probabilities. These are neither the conditional nor the joint probabilities. So you can always relate this joint probability with the conditional probabilities as shown here. And you can write this probability of A by B as probability of A intersection B upon probability of B, and obviously here the probability of B should not be equal to 0. Similarly, you can write probability of B by A as probability of B intersection A upon probability of A, and obviously the probability of A should not be equal to 0. And the probability of A intersection B will always be equal to probability of B intersection A. So these are the few basic terms of the probability that we are trying to discuss here. Now let us try to convert this into multiplication theorem. We know that probability of A intersection B can be written as probability of A into probability of B by A. Now what happens if I want to write probability of A intersection B intersection C? So I can write it as probability of A intersection B into probability of C by A intersection B. Now this A intersection B can again be written as probability of A into probability of B by A into probability of C by A intersection B. Similarly, you can also write it as probability of A intersection B intersection C intersection D as probability of A into probability of B by A into probability of C of A intersection B into probability of D by A intersection B intersection C. So This method of writing these probabilities are known as multiplication theorem. So this is known as multiplication theorem. Now let us discuss the axioms of the probability. So the axioms of the probability states, the first point is that the probability is always non-negative. It is always non-negative and the probability always lies between 0 to 1. And if we have an event as A, then the probability of that event will always lie between 0 to 1. Similarly, the second axiom is additivity. It says that when A and B are two mutually exclusive or disjoint events, then probability of A union B will always be written as probability of A plus probability of B. In general, you can say that if events A1, A2 up to An is a sequence of mutually exclusive events, then probability of A1 union A2 union A3 union An will always be equal to probability of A1 plus probability of A2 plus probability of A3 up to probability of An. Third axiom is normalization. According to this axiom, if we are forming a sample space, then the probability of that sample space will always be equal to 1. So these are the three axioms. One is non-negativity, second one is additivity, and third one is normalization. Now let us try to discuss the properties of probability. So we will discuss the properties in this. So the first property states that the probability of an impossible event is 0. Suppose this is an impossible event, then the probability of this impossible event will always be equal to 0. Second, if we know the probability of an event A, then the probability of the event A bar will always be equal to 1 minus B, and this will represent the probability of complement of A. Third is, if A is subset of an event B, then the probability of A will be less than or equal to probability of B. Fourth property is, if we are having n mutual exclusive events, A1, A2 up to N, then we know that A1 union A2 union A3 union AN will always represent the sample space S. So if we will take probability, then it becomes probability of A1 union A2 union A3 union up to AN is equal to probability of sample space, and we know that the probability of sample space is always going to be 1. Now these n events are mutually exclusive, so I can write it as probability of A1 plus probability of A2 plus probability of A3 up to the probability of AN, and it comes out to be 1. Now if n events are equiprobable, this should be small n because we are using small n here. So if n events are equiprobable, then you can write probability of A1 equal to A2 equal to A3 up to probability of AN, and it will become 1 by n. So you can write the probability of any event can be 1 by n. Next, property number 5 is if two events A and B are not mutually exclusive, then we can write probability of A union B as probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. And we know that this probability of A intersection B represents the joint probability of A and B. So these are few basic properties of probability which you must be knowing, but I'm just telling all these properties so that you can recall it. Now next very important term is mutually exclusive event. So understand it carefully, what is a mutually exclusive event. Now if we are having two possible outcomes of an experiment, now these two possible outcomes of an experiment can be called as mutually exclusive if the occurrence of one event or outcome precedes the occurrence of the other. Now you can draw the Venn diagram of mutually exclusive events. So it is saying that for an experiment, if it is having two events such as A and B, these can be called as mutually exclusive if the occurrence of this A precedes the occurrence of this B or the vice versa. So let us see what are the conditions required to call two events as mutually exclusive. So first of all, from the Venn diagram also you can understand this is your sample space, this is event A, this is event B. So here also you can see that there is no common point between A and B, or the intersection will always be phi. So the first condition for two events to be mutually exclusive, the probability of their intersections should always be equal to 0. Second, the conditional probability that A when B has already been happened should also be 0. The conditional probability that B when A has already been happened should also be 0. Fourth condition, A union B will be equal to BA plus PB minus P of A intersection B. So since this will always be 0 for mutually exclusive case, so you can write it as PA plus PB. So these are the 4 cases which must be satisfied for two events of an experiment to be mutually exclusive. Now, what are the statistically independent events? Now, suppose we are performing 2 experiments. One experiment has sample space as S1 and it has event as A. Another experiment has sample space as S2 and it has event B. Now, these events A and B can be called as independent events if it satisfies following conditions. So the first condition for independency is that the probability of A intersection B should always be equal to PA into PB. Second condition, the conditional probability of A when B has already been happened should not depend on B, or it should always be equal to PA. Third condition for statistically independent condition is probability of B when A has already been happened should always be equal to probability of B. And lastly, the probability of A union B should always be equal to PA plus PB minus P of A intersection B, or you can write it as PA plus PB minus P of A into P of B. Or in general, you can write when A1, A2 up to AN are statistically independent, then probability of A1 intersection A2 up to AN should always be equal to probability of A1 into A2 into A3 up to probability of AN. So this should be the case. Now, in case of mutual exclusiveness, you should understand that A1 union A2 union A3 union AN should always be equal to probability of A1 plus A2 plus A3 up to probability of AN. In case of statistical independence, we always talk about the intersection one. So the A1 intersection A2 intersection A3 intersection AN should always be equal to P of A1 into A2 into A3 into probability of A. So these are the two basic difference between mutual exclusiveness and statistical independence. Now the last term, which is related to the probability, is total probability. So in total probabilities, what I'm doing is I'm taking a sample space and I'm dividing this sample space into different events. So these are few events which I'm showing here. Suppose the name of this event is A1, this is A2, this is A3, and this is AN. So we have a sample space which has different events from A1 to AN. Now, in between, I am assuming an event as B. So, this is your event B. Now, we know that B will always be written as S intersection B. S represents the complete set, and whenever the intersection of B is taken from S, then it will always represent as S. S can be written as union of all the events. So A1 union A2 union A3 up to union AN. Now, I can write it B as A1 union A2 up to union AN intersection B. So I can distribute this intersection and it can be written as A1 intersection B union A2 intersection B union AN intersection B. Now we are taking an assumption here that events A1, A2 up to AN are mutually exclusive. So we can also say that these A1 intersection B, comma, A2 intersection B, comma, AN intersection B will also be mutually exclusive. Since these events A1, A2, AN are mutually exclusive, then if we are taking common intersection in all these events, then obviously they will also be mutually exclusive. So I can write this B as A1 intersection B union A2 intersection B union AN intersection B. Now if I need to calculate the probability of B, I can replace all these unions by summation. So I can write it as P of A1 intersection B plus P of A2 intersection B plus P of AN intersection B. By using the formula of conditional probability, I can write it as probability of A1 into probability of B by A1 plus probability of A2 into probability of B by A2 plus probability of AN into probability of B by AN, and this is known as the total probability of event B. So the total probability of event B can be written something like this. Now lastly, the Bayes theorem. So the Bayes theorem is used for the calculation of conditional probability. So we have already assumed that we have events from A1 to AN. So this probability of A1 by B can be calculated as probability of A1 intersection B upon PB. So this is known as your Bayes theorem. So this theorem we have already understood how to use this particular theorem. So here also this A1 intersection B can be written as probability of A1 into probability of B by A1, or the probability of B into probability of A1 by B. So this relation of joint and conditional probability always holds true, and if I can write this particular definition as probability of A1 by B, then it is known as Bayes theorem. And to calculate probability of B, we will use the formula of total probability, which is probability of A1 into B by A1 plus probability of A2 into B by A2, and so on up to probability of AN into B by A. So these were some basic discussion about the probability which you must be knowing already. So I was just taking the brief discussion of this probability topic. After that, we will start the random variable and random process. So thank you.
So hope you enjoyed the lecture and you understood all the things which I have taught. So if you have any doubt, you can leave it on the comment section. I'll be surely replying all the comments which is there. Now let us try to understand what are the subscription and what are the prices that by using which we can come on to the Unacademy. So there is Plus subscription. So this complete information is about the Plus subscription. So if you want to come on to the Unacademy Plus, there are 3 best subscriptions which is available for you. This subscription is costing you 12 month, which is costing you around 27,225, but you just have to pay 74 rupees per day, which is very much less than the cost that you spend on your daily expenses. So if you can spend only 74 rupees per day, you will be getting a very quality subscription. Apart from that, if you come for the 18-month subscription, this will cost you around 62 rupees per day, as low as 60 rupees per day. And for the 24-month subscription, this is costing you 54 rupees per day. So this much of subscriptions will give you a very quality guidance. What will you get in this? You will get the GATE complete subject, you will get the ESE complete subject, you will get the ESE non-technical subject, you will get the aptitude, you will get the GS part. Anything extra which is included in the syllabus, that will also be given you free of cost. You will be giving the test series, you will be getting live classes and recorded classes till the time you are having the subscription. Apart from that, you will be also having the doubt solving sessions. Apart from doubt solving sessions, you will be also having extra doubt solving sessions, which is not the part of the course. So there are also extra doubt solving sessions, which means this particular subscription, if you can spend 54 rupees per day, then you can avail all these subscription throughout the period of the 2 year without any interruption. You just need an internet connection, a laptop, and you can sit in your town, in your village, in your maybe city, and just start accessing the courses. And only hard work is needed from your end, only systematic work is needed from your end. Rest of the things will be taken care by the Unacademy. So if you can spend as much as low 62 rupees, 54 rupees, or the 74 rupees per day, then you can take this subscription and you can start accessing these courses in a very systematic manner, and one of the methods, in one of the possible methods which has never been done before. So you can take the subscription, any of these possible subscriptions. Apart from that, whenever you take the subscription, the most important part of taking the subscription is that you should use this particular code. So you have to write my name Vishal and attach GATE to it. Otherwise you can write my name and attach ESE to it. So whatever exam you are preparing, so either you would have been preparing for ESE or GATE, you just have to write my name and attach GATE or ESE to it. Fine. So what this subscription will offer you, this particular code will give you 10% immediately discount. So 10% discount will be given to you. Apart from that, you will be unlocking all the features of the Unacademy, and once you use this particular code, you come directly under the guidance of the teacher which is present on the Unacademy. So all the teachers will be guiding you, whatever maybe the teacher, he will be guiding you once you use this particular code, and you will also be under my supervision while preparing for the examination. So that will also boost your confidence, and that in that way you will be having a better confidence to attempt the examination. Fine. So every time you use this particular code, you actually also support my team to get you the more content, to get you the better content, and apart from that, we also get motivated when someone uses our code. So a lot of students have used this particular code. You can also use this code and get the benefit of the Unacademy, which is present there only for you. Fine. Now this information is about the Iconic. So if you come on to the Iconic subscription, if you want to take the advantages of the personal coach, if you want to take the analytics of your preparation so that you can grow very fast, in that particular case, you should come on to the Unacademy Plus by using this code. So this particular Iconic 12-month subscription will cost you 40,500, and this subscription will cost you 54,000 for 24 months. So obviously this is a game changer. This is one of the most revolutionary subscription which has ever been done in this particular domain. So if you come for this, you have to pay a little bit extra, but that also ensures the speedy growth of your preparation. That also ensures that you will be getting your success in a least possible time, provided you give your effort in the best possible manner. Fine. Now, even if you take the Iconic, do not forget to use this code. Write my name, Vishal GATE. So everyone just have to remember this code. Either you take the subscription or anyone else take the subscription. You just have to propagate this code. If you like my teaching, if you think that we are working day and night, so at least this much you can do, that you can tell others that this type of code exists, and this will give them the benefit at least, so that they can be benefited at the end of the day. Fine. Now these are my Telegram channels. This is my Telegram channel which you should join. So you should take the screenshot of this page. This is my Telegram group where you can join and you can comment also. In this channel you cannot comment, but there you can comment. And this is my Unacademy profile. So kindly take the screenshot of this particular page and start following me everywhere which is present there. Now these are some YouTube videos which I have made for you. So you can also take the screenshot of this thing. And these videos I have made specifically for you guys on this YouTube channel only. Fine. So you can start following all this. So I have taken one of the best possible videos. You can just go and watch these videos. You will be getting benefited in the best possible manner. Now, okay, very important information that this is the URL. So you just have to copy this URL to your browser, whether you are using Chrome, Safari, whatever. Just copy this URL in your browser. You will be taken to a page where all the special classes of are conducted by me are arranged in a very systematic manner. So you can attend all the special classes in a very systematic manner. Apart from that, this is also one of the revolutionary URL. This URL will also give you the access to all the YouTube lectures arranged in a very systematic manner with PDFs. Okay, so this is something which also has not been done before. So if you write it bit.ly, remember this Gate Live is in capital letters. So you just have to paste it in your URL, so that you will be redirected to a page where all the YouTube lectures which is present on this channel are arranged systematically with their PDFs. So this also has to be taken screenshot. Apart from that, everyone has to join this GATE aspirant group. These are some YouTube channels which every one of you should follow. This Electrical Junction, because there are a lot of common subjects are also there uploaded. This Engineering Pathshala, and this Unacademy GATE question, where previous year questions are being uploaded, and this is the main channel on which you are right now studying. So all these channels has to be subscribed without fail by everyone, and you should also share all these channels, that everyone has to subscribe all the channels. So this is it in this session. Let us meet in the next session, and let us start making a habit that we should attend all the classes, and we should be having a very disciplined, and let's crack it.